Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva. Today is Thursday, January 6th, 2022. Happy New Year to everybody. Happy New Year to all my friends, family that I haven't seen, that I didn't see on the New Year, that I didn't partake in. Festivities, I was in doing my own thing. I was having fun, drinking some apple cider, tasting that good nectar. Not just apple, by the way. Apple cranberry cider and apple grape cider. Good shit. But I hope everybody had a good festive and fun holiday, if you can even call it that. Good festivities, good food, drink. Hope you enjoyed your day and had a good time with family, with friends. Doing whatever you wanted, I guess. I mean, most people that I know who celebrate New Year's it's just a good day for drinking and a good day for partying. I mean, not many people that I know actually actively watch like the New Year's Rockin' Eve or the New Year's musical festivities or anything like that. They just kind of like, drink and have fun, which is what I would have enjoyed to do as well, but I decided to be with my family and not do that and just, actually sit back and watch New Year's Rockin' Eve and see how it was and how I remembered it and how it is now today. And first and foremost, I must say that I find the event, the show, the program to be utterly boring in so many ways, shapes, and forms. And that's not because I don't enjoy the music. I just feel like it's been done so many years and so many times that I feel like whenever anybody does it and whenever anybody shows up and whenever anybody says, oh, this person's got new music or this person's got a new album or whatever, I just kind of feel like it's never like really, it's not for me a fun way to ring in the new year. I think just listening to people play music, I don't know what it is. Sure, the ball drop is fun. I mean, there's some cool throwback performances that you could reminisce on. They had Journey was there. Journey was badass. They had Macklemore, no Pitbull though, so that was kind of disappointing. I mean, honestly, what the hell. But, Ryan Seacrest does a good job. He could do it, whatever you want him to. He's like the number one host in America. Him and Mario Lopez can like pretty much host anything that they wanted. I think that Ryan is still number one just because he's Ryan Seacrest. I mean, he's done American Idol. He's done so many other things. And he's just got it down. Him and Liza Koshy, I believe is her name. She used to be a YouTube star. She did pretty well, I think. She was kind of more of the more comedic host than Ryan, because Ryan is just more of the generic host of the Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. I just think that they should just change it to Ryan Seacrest's, because, I mean, they're going to have to, right? I mean, like, it was, don't get me wrong, Dick Clark was good at it. He was great at it, But it's just like, he's been dead since 2012, and I get that he's a legend, that he was inspiring and all that, but it just feels like maybe we can now call it Ryan Seacrest's New Year's Rockin' Eve. I don't know, I'm just saying. Never really been my thing anyway, so I guess I'm not in the realm of speaking on part of Dick Clark's legacy, because I rarely watched it, even when he was alive still. I mean, it was just always kind of in the background, and you kind of would just be enjoying things. But if you actually sit down and watch it, and you're like, what do they got to show me? Who's going to be there? Who's going to be, performing and all that? Really, it's not that much. I mean, it's not the most greatest thing ever. I mean, again, like, still being involved in the pandy, and, the sea is spreading like wildfire. Can't really have that many people be live, I guess. There was a lot of flashback performances that they showed, like there was one of, some from the 80s that you were like, oh, that was nice, that was cool. But then there was one of BTS back in 2019. And I actually was bamboozled for a while, because I thought that was actually happening at live right then and there. Because they were performing, and then they were like moving through the crowd and all that, and they were like moving through aisles and aisles of people, and then nobody was wearing a mask, and I was like, what the fuck? Like, is this live? Because When you go to Ryan and Liza, everybody's got a mask on, everybody's being, distanced, and everybody's, under protocol and all that. And these motherfuckers are just going through aisles of, fans and then police officers and then fire department worker or firefighters, there to be, for in case something goes wrong. They weren't wearing a mask. And I was like, wait, hold on. What's going on here? How the hell is this happening? And how the hell is nobody, and I mean nobody, backstage, I guess, or wherever they are at this moment, nobody is actually wearing a mask? And I was just like, I couldn't believe it. And then they go up to the stage and they see like a banner or something like that, and it said New Year's Rockin' Eve 2020 or 2019. I can't remember. I believe it was 2019. About to be 2020. I was like, oh shit, that was when everything was normal and everything wasn't massively screwed up like it is now. And I, seeing that so recently, and that was like the last regular, normal New Year's party, New Year's Eve, whatever that we've had, in over, in so long it feels like now. And I was just like, this is killing me, man. This is making me so sad. Like, I just want it to be like that right now, but it's not. And like, I don't know. I wasn't getting like choked up or anything like that. I was just like, this is what it could be. This is what it could be. But it was a good. I guess it was a good program. I didn't see the ratings. I'm pretty sure that they would be pretty mediocre still, because I don't know. I just feel like more people now, pandy or not, just go out and have fun no matter what it is. That's obviously not last year because everything was more shut down. It's not up to that point yet of last year. I mean, but, we'll see. You can only hope for the best, I think. I mean, new year, new me, new you, new I, whatever you want to call it, new us. We can only hope for better things and better prosperities and better, I guess, like goals, I guess you could say. I'm a big goal guy. I like shooting for goals. I like making goals that hopefully that I can achieve. And if I don't, I'm like, well, I made it. So, I mean, if anybody made it for me, I would feel more guilted to do it. It's like if I make a goal that I'm gonna, what's a good thing I could say? I want to lose 10 pounds, right? And if I don't, I'm like, well, the only person I let down was me. Now, if somebody else says you need to lose 10 pounds or 20 pounds for this by this time for the new year, they check up on you, like, how you doing on your weight loss? You're like, well, I'm sucking, actually. I already eat like 2 In-N-Out cheeseburgers and stuff like that. I've actually gained weight. So, I mean, you feel more guilted and worse, I think, when you let somebody else down than yourself, when it shouldn't be like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what it is, but sometimes when you let yourself down, you kind of just shrug it off like, oh, we'll get it next time. We'll do better next time. When you let somebody else down, it hits you right there, and you're like, oh shit, I actually let my friend or my family member down, or somebody I know down that actually counted on me and was like, believed in me and all that. It's like, and then you feel like shit. Then you're just like, oh shit, what do I do now? How do I make this better? What am I supposed to do? How do I gain their trust back? Because there's nothing worse than letting somebody else down, I think. Not to bring the show down or anything, but it just kind of popped into my mind. Like, we make all these resolutions. We make all these goals and promises, especially during the New Year time. And we tend to think that, are we going to do it? Will this happen? Are we going to be letting anybody down? The truth is, you're letting down yourself. But the thing is, with letting yourself down, just for some reason, it doesn't always feel that bad. So maybe we should do other things. Maybe we should change it to my own resolutions to your friends' resolutions. What do you want? What do you want What do your friends want you to do in the new year? Hey, I want you to go out and be more outgoing and go and meet new people, lose some weight, and get more fit, and do all that. And I don't want you to play as many video games. I don't want you to or watch as many movies or not go out as much. I want you to be better socially and to not do anything that you used to do, what has made you so lazy, And then have them say that to you, and then you're like, okay, well, I'll do my best. And, depending on how much you love your friend or how much you care about that person, either you'll try harder to do it and actually, complete that and accomplish that goal, your friend's goal for you, I feel like that would be much better. Easier to accomplish, maybe more of a drive to accomplish, maybe more of a um not just drive, but like the passion and willing to not let your friend down. Depending on how good your friendship is. I know that if certain friends of mine wanted me to do that, I do feel, and not accomplish that or not achieve that, you do feel like shit. You do feel bad. You do feel like you let them people down. So maybe we should change it from being your own personal resolutions and goals to what your friends want of you. And I mean, I can think of so many other goals for friends that I would give them to say, hey, I want you to do this or try to do that or try to be better in this way. And some of them would be like pretty like easy, I guess. Like, I want you to go a whole day or a whole week without eating Chick-fil-A. And that's your one thing. Just go an entire week without eating Chick-fil-A or an entire month. Or maybe I don't want you to drink for at least 2 months. Or I want you to, with me, partake in Sober October when it comes around. That's what I want from you. I feel like that could be a lot more engaging and a lot more fun and more inclusive with other people, and just better, I think, in general than just putting self goals, because like I said, I just feel like self goals can get so lost sometimes because you'll just be like, it's fine, so whatever, it's me, I didn't promise anybody that, you know what I'm saying? Maybe we should change it. Maybe we should change it to just self goals and maybe we should change it to just your friends and family's goals for you, and not your self goals. That's just a little idea I had. I don't know if that's going to work or if that's going to be, good for society or for anybody's health or whatever. But probably can't help or hurt, though. I mean, I don't know. Unless it's something like bad, like, okay, I'm not going to take that goal. If your friend's like, I want you to go out and crush a marathon, I mean, maybe you can, maybe you could work it down to like, I'll run a mile. How about that? Maybe not that much, weaker, but something along the lines of not a marathon, but I'll definitely run a race or something. I'll run a 2K. I don't know if that's even a thing out there, but that'd be more manageable for me in my my life, I guess I could say. Son of a bitch! Hold on, I forgot my water. Sorry about that. I need this, man. Maybe you could just say, like, I want to drink more water. Is that even a goal that somebody of you would be like, yeah, that's a good goal, but it's like, you should be drinking enough water anyway. You got to use that to live. You need water to live and to be hydrated and to feel good. That should be an easy thing to do. Not hard, not like, oh, I don't know if I can do it. It's kind of not my thing, but like, it's like, motherfucker, come on, why not? It's good. That was my New Year, though. It was fun, for sure. It was fun. But moving on, though, I guess we can move on. But the New Year brings on new things, hopefully new forms of entertainment, new video games, new movies, new TV shows, just new stuff, new people that you can meet, new opportunities, new sights you'll see. Maybe you go on a vacation that's somewhere that you've never been on. Maybe just a trip or something. Maybe, I don't know, maybe start a family. That's not going to happen for me, but, maybe that could happen for you. I don't know. Meet somebody that you love more people. But with the new year brings new things. And this technically isn't really a new thing, really, because it came out in December. But I guess I'll be talking about TV right now. TV, what's happening, what's popping. And I'll be talking about right now the book of Boba Fett. So if you don't know, this is the story of Boba Fett, the acclaimed bounty hunter in the Star Wars universe. That's for years and years and years and even decades, it has been loved by multiple people, multiple fans of him who got, like, back in the day in the original trilogy, got like barely any screen time. He was a dude that just looked cool. He looked cool in his armor. He was Jabba's bounty hunter. He worked for Boba Fett or Darth Vader as well. And he was always just had a cool persona, cool aura, cool presence, I guess you could say. I just said like 3 words that probably mean something totally different than the other, but he had a cool presence, I'll say that. He was a cool guy. And recently, if you haven't been watching, the Star Wars shows and The Mandalorian, Season 2, they brought him back. They confirmed that he was alive and well and got out of the Sarlacc pit from Episode 6 and is doing pretty well. And, I guess I can talk about it. I won't spoil the Boba Fett show, but I will spoil The Mandalorian right now. I'm sorry if you haven't seen it, I guess. Came back with a bang. You see his face. You see him in the first episode, just like a split second of him walking, and then you see him in this other episode down the road where he makes a giant impact. He's fighting. He's killing stormtroopers, and he's not the same, right? He's different. He's looking for his armor, and then you get him back with his armor, and then he's just badass, and he's a Boba Fett that you knew and loved, played by Tamora Morrison, who played Jango Fett in the episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Which makes sense because Boba is the clone son of Jango. Essentially, what they did was they were making clones out of Jango Fett to be the clones, but Jango was like, "Give me a clone of myself, but don't genetically alter him so he will grow so fast and die like the clones. Like they were just programmed to age fast and just to be bred for, war." So it's essentially himself, but he's calling him his son. So that's Boba Fett is Jango Fett's son, which, is now who we're talking about, Boba Fett. And to be honest with you, the marketing for the show, I'll be honest, did not grab me. I mean, I was looking forward to it since the end of The Mandalorian Season 2 last year. And I was excited. I was like, okay, cool. What can they do with Boba Fett? What are they going to do different? What are they going to try? Are they going to do the Legends thing, the Legends arcs that have been established but have recently been retconned by Disney? What's going to happen in the show, and what is going to really draw me to it? Now that with The Mandalorian, we all had this general wanting to watch it because it was going to be the new show, the first show from Star Wars on Disney Plus when the platform launched, and that's how everybody got into it. And the reveal of Baby Yoda, that therefore in the future would be known as Grogu. That guy was always one of the big attractions, and it was just the hype for it. The hype of their first Star Wars TV series on Disney Plus, the new platform that launched simultaneously on the same day. That was what was driving the hype for The Mandalorian, I believe. So when the marketing and all that started, I was like, I'm it looks cool, but I'm not really getting anything that would want me to watch it when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? With me, there's always interest in Star Wars properties and in Star Wars media. There's always just that automatic interest. But I was I was gonna watch it, but I was I'm wanting a little bit more here. I'm not getting really a feel of the show yet, not really a feel of what they're kind of going for, how they're going to be different from The Mandalorian, and eventually, is it going to tie into any other shows in the future? The Mandalorian, what's going to happen? It's all taking place in the Mandalorian time period, which is 5 years after Return of the Jedi. So that's pretty cool. But other than that, the trailers have been pretty they've had maybe 30-second trailers to a minute trailers, not really actually full-fledged 2.5-minute trailers when they release a trailer. So it's do they have? Is this going to be an actually good show that people want to see, or is it just gonna be a placeholder? Because I remember at the end of Mandalorian, they had a tease at the end of the season, Boba Fett will return in the Book of Boba Fett, streaming 2022 or 21 in December, and I was just okay. And they released it on December 29th. It was just before you have to put it in the new year, which is okay, they made their deadline, I guess. And then, so I was it comes out, and I'm okay, I'm gonna watch this. I'm gonna give it a shot. And right off the bat, we're already in the second week of the show, right? There's already been 2 episodes. I gotta say, man, after really not having any expectations, really, not really having any hype, or not really having a big media push for it from Disney. It's been some TV spots here and there and a couple big ads, but other than that, not much. But after seeing the first 2 episodes, I am completely in on this show. I think that this show, it doesn't deserve to be this good, if that makes sense. It didn't have enough hype, and it didn't have enough eyeballs, concentrating on it for it to be this good, if that makes any sense. Like, it's stupidly crazy good. This show is. And I'll tell you why. The show off the bat knows exactly what it wants to be. It's not The Mandalorian. It's not about a gunslinger in particular, in Din Djarin as the Mandalorian, Pedro Pascal's character. It's Boba Fett. It's Boba Fett after him in episode 6 and what he has to do and the build up until you see him in the Mandalorian and even beyond of that. And it's a Boba Fett story, and it actually made me care so much about Boba Fett that it's like, how is this even possible? Like, when you see Boba Fett for the first time in action in The Mandalorian, you're like, oh, that's why he's Boba Fett. That's why he's so feared. That's badass. He can fight and just slaughter a ton of stormtroopers. Like, this is badass. And then you see why he's so, like in the show so far, of why he's so respected and feared at the same time, and his relationships with people in the crime world of Star Wars, and then because now, like, essentially, like, if you haven't seen the ending of The Mandalorian season 2, I guess a spoiler here, he's gonna take the throne of Jabba the Hutt and the crime of Lord, essentially, of Tatooine. It's like, that's what you kind of get and assume. And it's like, whoa, I like this. I like this established character that has a backstory that we're learning about, but whenever we've seen him, he's just kind of been like this guy in the background that looks cool. And I enjoy this approach, and I enjoy that Jon Favreau, clearly, especially after episode 2, he knows exactly what he's doing, man. Exactly. And I don't know if I could have said that if they started off with Boba Fett. Maybe I could have, but I feel like what Disney wanted is, I'm pretty sure that Jon Favreau wanted to tell this story way, way back, even before The Mandalorian. But they're like, nah, we don't want to risk it yet, because that's a well-established character who has such a gigantic fan base and people that care about him, that if we mess it up like we did with Solo, even though I personally thought it was fine, we don't want to get that same kind of backlash, or even have that, close to that kind of backlash that Solo got. So we'll make a new character. We'll make Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. We'll make Grogu. We'll make IG-11. We'll make Quill. We'll make what is his name? Grief Kargas, Carl Weathers, and we'll give you Giancarlo Esposito as the villain. We'll give you that, and then we'll see what you can do. That turned out to be a huge hit. Like, okay, well, clearly we were wrong. You know what you're doing. You know how to do this. You know the character. You know that part of the Star Wars lore and world, like the underground, the grittiness of Tatooine and all the other the backwater planets and the grittiness of it, and like the Western feel. Like, okay, we're gonna give you the keys to Boba Fett. And then just watching that show, the Boba Fett show, the feel you get, the detail that you receive, the character building, the overall like warmth and love of Boba Fett in the show, and being totally seen through the writing and what's happening in the show, I can't praise Jon Favreau any more than I can right now. I mean, truly I can't. The guy just gets it. He understands storytelling. He understands Boba Fett. He understands the crime of Star Wars. He understands the factions in Star Wars. He understands the politics of Star Wars. He understands, not just with him, he's got Dave Filoni helping him as well. But like, he just understands it. Like, he gets it. He gets the motifs. He gets the Western feel, the hero's journey type of feel. He gets the loner feel. He gets it all. And like, I couldn't like stop smiling in that episode. And I was just like thinking, like, I bet you George Lucas loves this right now. I think that he has to. Like, maybe I'm wrong, but like, after watching that, I'm like, dude, George Lucas is probably loving this, because I saw, like, when watching that episode 2, I'm like, this is written by Jon Favreau, but like, it feels like George Lucas episode 4 Star Wars type of feels, like, so hard. And I was just like, this is incredible. I mean, I'm probably going to be a prisoner in the moment right now. And just like maybe I'm so hyped up and maybe I'm so like, I just can't get it out. Like, I don't know what to say, and I'm too excited. But I feel like this episode of the Book of Boba Fett truly, truly is the best storytelling, movie or TV show, that Disney Star Wars has ever created. And that's after the last, Mandalorian Season 2 finale, the Clone Wars Season 7 finale. I'm serious. Like, this hits you in a way that you probably never would have thought would have hit you with the character like Boba Fett and how little that we knew about him. We just knew that he was a clone of Jango and a badass bounty hunter. That's all we knew. But in this episode, this one alone, and even the one before that, episode 1, I just feel like they have struck gold here in the terms of the creative people behind it, the production value, the goal of the show, and what it's not being hindered by the Marvel comedy that would just creep into the sequel trilogy movies like COVID. It feels like it's just a new brand of Star Wars, and it's like I don't want to have to think about the sequel movies ever again after seeing this, because I just can't believe that the same head of the studio and Kathleen Kennedy is responsible for also episode 9 and the Book of Boba Fett. I don't get how that they are essentially quote unquote made or produced by the same person. I truly don't I don't get it. And it makes me sad because the sequels are so bad, but this is so good. I can't tell you how, without spoiling, I don't even want to tell you how good it is. I just want you to watch it. Truly, like, because it is really that good. And I'm so happy right now because The Mandalorian was the best Star Wars for a while, right? Then Season 2 happened, then Clone Wars Season 7 happened. Those were also fantastic, but I have never felt this much of an emotional pull and just a gratification and payoff in an episode of anything or movie of any Star Wars thing than this one right here. Truly incredible. I can't tell you how much I loved it. Just check it out for yourself, please. Do yourself a favor. Check it out. I guarantee you that you will enjoy it. I guarantee you, because it isn't like... It's not like the sequels at all. It really isn't. So if you were a fan of those, you might not enjoy it. But if you really, truly like Star Wars, for what Star Wars is, and the inspiration of Star Wars, and just how well it can be told, and how well it looks, and how well it feels, this is what you got to check out. I'm not kidding you. Incredible stuff. I mean, like, I can't stop thinking about it. Truly, I can't. It's just now been imprinted, like, okay, this is like pretty much like the holy grail of Star Wars storytelling. I kid you not. It is that good. And I just can't wait for the future either, because like this show, again, it pretty much just started. I can't wait to see what happens now, because now we're on a trajectory that's going to be like, oof, this might be their best show ever, and it's probably one that you weren't even expecting to be good. I'm not kidding. Check it out. Book of Boba Fett. Streaming now on Disney+. No free ads, though. Now, we're moving on. Time to talk a little bit about college football. Now you're saying, Alex, you hate college football. You hate it. Why would you talk about it? Well, to tell you the truth is, there's some things that happened in college football this week that aren't really necessarily about the sport itself. but just the way that it's run and the people involved in it. And I think the one thing I'll start with is Mr. Brian Kelly, former coach of Notre Dame Fighting Irish. If you don't know this, Brian Kelly has been coaching the Notre Dame Fighting Irish for at least, I believe 12 years. He recently stepped down and decided to go to LSU down in Louisiana. If you don't know, Notre Dame is located in Indiana, right? Big change from the north to the south. And now he's going to be a coach there. He's going to have access to more recruits. He's going to have access to more money, more better facilities. He's had very good teams. He's had teams that have made it to the national championship. Never won, though. Never won. Made it to the Final Four and never really did anything good. I'll be honest with you. Good regular season team. Good regular season coach. But when it matters, truly nothing happens. I mean, it's kind of sad because you expect a school and a team and a brand like Notre Dame to be winning natties, winning bowls. I mean, yeah, they win bowls, but let's be honest, no bowl matters than the national championship, right? I mean, that's what they should be playing for. That's you being the best of the best, right? Never won one. Gotten there and pretty much had pathetic performances. And he's now moved to Louisiana State University, LSU Tigers, go Tigers. Formerly coached by Coach Ed Orgeron, Coach O, Cajun man. Louisiana till the day he dies, very respectable. I enjoy the coach quite a bit. I think that he's entertaining. I think that he's fun. And he bleeds and dies. He is Louisiana. He is Louisiana. He is LSU. And for him to leave the way he did, it's heartbreaking, but I believe that they both him and both LSU know that it's better for them to part ways and just for him to no longer be the head coach. Anyways, back to Brian Kelly. A few months ago, he was introduced at a basketball game at LSU. And knowing Brian Kelly and seeing him in interviews, he has no lick of any kind of accent. He just talks regularly, no accent, normal American plain accent, right? Just like your boy here. And he decided to start talking in a Southern accent. And it was all recorded and videotaped and shown to the world that when he was addressing the LSU home crowd at the basketball game, I'm the new head coach and we're going to recruit better. We're going to make this program great. We're going to be in contention for the national championship and we're going to make LSU great and we're going to make it better than ever. Except he didn't say it like that. No. He said it in a way that I'm going to attempt. Now, it's not going to be word for word. It's not going to be even close, but it's going to be in my best accent that I could possibly do for a Southern person who would be coming from Southern states. Man, mind you, he's not been a Southern guy for at least 12 years. He's been a Northern Indiana guy. Anyway, so here's my attempt. Essentially, now this is not a quote, like I'm saying. This is not what he said, but this is going to be a summarize of something that he might have said. He essentially addressed the crowd. It was like this: you know what? I'm here. We're gonna make this program great. We're gonna make it like it should be, and bring it back to the greatness. And we're gonna make LSU great. And we're gonna win national championships. We're gonna recruit well, and we're gonna play well. We're gonna make sure that we're a known football program in this country. I know, terrible. I know. The thing is, that's not how Brian Kelly ever talks, or has ever talked. And to see him do that back a couple months ago was shocking. Incredibly shocking. I believe I covered it on this podcast. I could be wrong, though. But that was a shock, to me, to everybody who knows Brian Kelly is like, what the fuck was that? Well, why would anybody in the right mind? It's so phony. It's so fake. Why would you do that? And it's like, now the man has doubled down. Now he's doubled down. He was on a booth broadcast for LSU football when they played Kansas State before he takes over, and they were talking about his accent. And he has gone on record in saying that I'm from Boston. Nobody has an accent there. Around those, he said that nobody in Boston has an accent. And I was just like, hold on, bro. Have you ever seen The Departed? Have you ever seen Good Will Hunting? Have you ever seen any movie with Ben Affleck, The Town, anything? There is a Boston accent. There is one. It's a real thing. So I'm getting the fact that this man has not been in Boston for a long, long, long time, because I don't know where he's been coaching since before Notre Dame, but I'm pretty sure it wasn't Boston. But I'm like, you essentially just said that nobody in Boston has an accent. Nobody's going to let you even near Boston in the future. I mean, you kind of just fucked your relationship with your home, essentially. Now nobody's going to be like, well, like, I was just saying that because I was in the moment. Like, no, you just said that they don't have an accent there. You're denying their accent because you want to appease to these LSU fans and be so embedded with the culture. Like, bro, trust me, nobody's going to want you to go there and speak like you're from Louisiana. Like, I'm pretty sure that's not even what they sound like. Again, that was a bad impression. That was stupid, but it was just like, it's just to get the point across of how dumb he sounded. That's how stupid he sounded. And then he's like, I mean, I just think that he can never speak normal ever again, if I'm being completely honest. As long as he coaches in Louisiana for LSU, he cannot go back to his regular accent. It's got to stay Southern, and it's got to even get more Southerny, I think, because when he's gonna be recruiting homes in Louisiana in the South, and maybe even going to Georgia, to Alabama, other states in the South. I mean, he has to even get even more Southerner. He kind of has to. I mean, or he can't. He maybe not get more Southern, but he can't quit the accent. Because if he quits the accent, people are going to be asking, why'd you do it? Why'd you? And I don't think he has an answer for that. Maybe he does. Like, maybe he thought like it was going to make him be more appealing to the LSU crowd and the fan base and the community. But it's like, why? I mean, I don't understand why anybody would ever, in their right mind, try to fit in with a crowd the way that he did as a grown man by him, at his age. Like, he's not like a kid, bro. You don't gotta make up who you are to fit in anymore. You just gotta be who you are, I guess. That's why I believe that they hired you, is because you were Brian Kelly. You were focused on making a good program and getting the right recruits and building a team for the national championship. Well, why the fuck do you have to go all yeehaw and rootin' tootin' for us and try to be somebody that you're not? I mean, I just thought that it was so childish and so stupid that he can never go back to the regular Brian Kelly accent. Just kind of can't now. Not to say that he will, but I mean, like, I imagine that when LSU called him and he answered the phone, he probably started talking like normal, like just like himself. And all of a sudden, he got possessed by the ghosts of the South or something like that. Something southerny. A southern ghost possessed him. Right? We'll just say that. Like just some ghost came around and he saw the ghost, and the ghost is like, you better talk Southern. You're not going to get this job, and nobody will like you, and everybody's going to hate you, and they're going to say, go back to Indiana and go back to Notre Dame. And he decided to throw in that phony fake-ass accent. And now he can't go back because he saw a ghost. And that it's just now his destiny is to remain Brian Kelly, the Southerner. No more the Northman. So I can imagine the call being like, I don't know, the athletic director from LSU, like, excuse me, Mr. Brian Kelly, we'd like to talk to you about an opportunity at LSU. Our university is looking for a head coach to coach the Tigers, and we would like to have you rightfully take the job and to be the successor to Coach Ed Orgeron. Could you please, on this phone call right now, I would like to know if you would be down or game to take that job. In that call, this man had to have been like, hello, sir. Well, I just want to say that yeehaw, I would love to take the job as the LSU head football coach. going to make a great program, and we're going to make it the best program that LSU has ever seen, and we're going to go to the top and win a national championship and beat Alabama and do it with LSU pride. Go Tigers! Well, I think that's what we wanted to hear. Thank you so much, Mr. Kelly, and we'd like to see you soon in Baton Rouge to get affiliated with the team, the staff, and everybody. We'll make a press conference and have you at the next basketball game. We can introduce you there, and we would like you to get here as fast as possible, sir. Well, thank you, sir. I'll be there. You damn well I'll be there. I can't wait to have Cajun food and have beignets and go down Mardi Gras and have fun there and go down whatever street that's called and sing some jazz and all that. And I'll be there, sir. Well, okay. We'll see you there, Mr. Kelly. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I can just see, like whenever you want to impress somebody, whenever you want to be like more of the person that they want, but that like shows through like so like through that it's like impossible for anybody to deny. It's like when you go to like an interview for a job and they're looking for somebody to fit this position, and it's almost like you become that person in that interview. Like I feel like that's what happened with Brian Kelly. Like he was in the moment, he was like, I gotta become Johnny Appleseed here, or something like that. I gotta become so Southern that I forget who I am and where I'm from. Now I'm shaking to just build effect, but it's like I feel like that's what happened. I truly do. Like there's nothing in me that thinks like this man is fully sane. But we'll never know. We'll never know. He's not gonna be if he does more interviews where he's like talking normally as he did before he got the job there, because dude, I mean, he did not have a lick of accent before that, and then that day, full on calling out, just saying dumb shit with an accent, like, oh my god, and everybody was like, what the fuck is up with this guy? But it's just gonna be funny because I can just imagine like this guy going into houses and for kids, to recruit them, and him just, I just want somebody to record him going to a recruit's house and like having dinner with their families, and how he acts and how he sounds. Dear God, it's never gonna be shown, but my God, I would pay to see that because he's gonna make a fool out of himself. That would be such a funny thing to see, man. So funny. I mean, it's funny either way, but I want to see it because we can all imagine it. I mean, we all know he can't go back to his regular accent. You just can't. He's already made that public and made it clear that he's now South. He is now the South. So I'm curious to see how that plays out and how that affects his life. And maybe he'll become so Southern that he'll just I don't even know. Maybe he'll go hunting alligators and some shit. Like he'll be so Southern and so Louisianian that he'll be consumed by it, trying to make himself more likable to the community and the fans. I don't know. We'll see though. Now they get to the little bit of a gripe I got with college football. A big gripe. Recently, New Year's Eve, they have the bowl games for the national championship. Who's going to be playing who for the Natty on January 10th? And listen, I'm not a big fan of college football. Truly, I'm not. But I always tend to watch the games because everybody says and everybody is like hyping up the big matchup between, Alabama and Cincinnati and then Georgia and Michigan. I'm like, oh yeah, I mean, I'll watch that. I mean, we got the four best teams. I've seen Michigan play. They're really, really good. They beat Ohio State. They beat them pretty well. Alabama's usually pretty good. Georgia's good, but they lost to Alabama in the SEC championship game. Cincinnati, I've heard, is good. I'm excited. I'm ready to watch this. I'm ready to see some quality college football. That's what I thought. I thought that I was ready to see quality college football. What did I get? Just more of the same. Predictable, poor, from one team especially, college football. I have never been so angry and so mad at myself for wasting an entire day hoping something would happen and hoping something would be out of the ordinary and I would be able to watch a good game, hopefully Cincinnati or Michigan beating Alabama or Georgia. Did that happen? Absolutely not. It did not. It did not happen. And I can't tell you how broken college football is. I mean, Cincinnati was talked about this entire season being for real, having a good head coach in Luke Fickell, being good, being competent, being competitive, playing great football against a good teams and winning games, and the team of not destiny, but like a team with a purpose. And then they just absolutely go and get smashed by Alabama, and it's not even competitive. And then I'm like thinking, like, was I lied to? Was I given false information about this entire team and this entire season? Like, I truly don't get it. Did I miss something? Then I'm like, well, I mean, everybody said, or everybody I listened to is like, they're good, they're a good team, but I'm like, why does Alabama seem so fucking good? Like, just, you said they were good. I mean, I expected Alabama to be good too, but this much better? Well, just a little suspect, but I'm like, okay, whatever. I mean, maybe it was just that game. I was just like, maybe, okay, Alabama did Alabama things. They played better. Cincinnati sucked. It was just too big for them, and Alabama's just been there before. You know, no matter who they have on their team, they have Nick Saban, they got Bryce Young, and it's like they're the Heisman Trophy winner, and like everybody's, you know, it's all happy for Alabama, whatever. Then we got to the Michigan-Georgia game. I actually thought Michigan was actually really, really good after beating Ohio State, just losing to Michigan State, but you know they've had good games. They have a good coach in Jim Harbaugh. Aiden Hutchinson is great. Shane McNamara is pretty good. Hassan Haskins is really good. I mean, they come from a good program, a pretty good conference in the Big Ten. I'm like, these guys are pretty, like, this is finally what Jim Harbaugh's teams are starting to look like. They're starting to be good and better, and he's getting actually good players. I'm like, I'm excited. I'm like, let's see Michigan and Georgia. I mean, like, this is a good game. This should be, this feels, and this could be a actually instant classic, an instant college football classic. 100% wrong. More of the same. Predictability. Georgia crushed them. Non-competitive, blew them out. I mean, there was a point in the game where Michigan was going to go for it on fourth down, not to score, but just to extend the drive, and they were already in Alabama territory. But I was like, if they don't get this, and seeing Alabama score so easily on their first drive, and how Michigan is just struggling to get get the ball down on this first drive, I'm like, if they don't convert this on fourth down, Alabama's going to win. I mean, I immediately thought that. I'm like, oh, if they don't get this, it's over. Surely they don't get it, and I'm like, oh, it's over. Right after that, Alabama just scored like 3 times straight, just easy on Michigan. Or Georgia. Sorry, Georgia. Georgia just scored easily on Michigan. Easily. And I was just like, what? Again, did I miss something? Why does it seem like one of the teams is said that they're good, but this other team has also said that they're good, but it's not even close? Well, shouldn't it be more closer, more competitive? But it's just not. So I'm thinking, like, is it just the SEC? Is college football broken? Is it the SEC? Like, what's happening here? I mean, I'm lost. And then, you know, it finishes, and like, it truly is uncompetitive, and it's like, I just wasted an entire half of my day watching college football for it to be something more than I thought that it could be. Maybe it was just bad games. Maybe it was just bad matchups. No, you can't say that. You can't say that it was bad matchups. You can't, because those were the top 4 teams, and I know the job of the playoff is to get the best teams to play. Sure. The thing is that they did not have to play those 2 games to be in the next in the Natty, in the championship. We didn't need to see that. I mean, it shows to me how college football is so lopsided. And when I mean lopsided, I mean only in the SEC. And just that conference and those teams are just so far superior in talent and coaching and recruiting and facilities and money, the superior to the Big 10, the Big 12, the Pac-12, the ACC, Mountain West. Well, you name it. It's just it's becoming more and more predictable, and that's not why I like to watch sports. I hope and pray that in professional sports, it's not as predictable. Not to this extent. No way. No way. I mean, you look at the score of the Alabama-Cincinnati game, you're not like, oh, I'm shocked. Oh, that's crazy. No, you're not. Like, well, that's just one game. You see the score for Michigan and Georgia. I expected that. That's what should have happened. And you know what? Maybe it should have, but if that's what we're paying to see, I don't want any more of it. I don't. I don't want to see it ever again. I'm not watching the Natty. Not watching it because I know what's going to happen. Alabama's going to win again after claiming that Nick Saban doesn't have a great team as he had in the past. Bullshit. Full-on bullshit. He beat Cincinnati. He already beat the opponent that he's going to play in the Natty in Georgia by a lot. So why should I expect that it to be even a competitive game? Why should I? I mean, if this is going to continue and you want to expand it even more, you want more teams in the playoff. Why? So the SEC can be even more teams? Why? Why do you want more of the same? If you expand it to 8, no shot any of the even lower teams are going to beat the higher teams. Like, if you were to take the final 8 and put them in this playoff, I guarantee you still that Alabama would be playing Georgia. It might be more interesting on the way there, but you're just going to see Alabama and Georgia beat more teams. It's like, why do we want to see this? Why? What is so fun to watch Alabama win the national championship again? What? Why even play a season? Why? What's the point? It's just going to be the same thing over and over and over again. I'm done with it. I'm so done. And this is big. I'm not even a fan of college football. Like, I went to Fresno State. Yeah, it was fun. The football team's good, but I'm not like a super passionate fan. Why? I just can't get behind the quality of football in college. I just can't. I can't get behind it. I can get behind the pageantry, the pomp and circumstance, the pride of your school. Yeah, sure, I can get that, but I cannot get behind the quality and the play of college football. I just can't do it. And that's what I look forward to in sports, is the quality of play. Is it there? Are the players good? Are they making the game fun? Is it lopsided? Is it competitive? It's none of that. No, it isn't. You'll hear a couple of tight games, instant classics like the Rose Bowl this year. Sure, fine. But if these are the best teams in the nation, why is one conference so much better than the others? Why? That's just not even fair. The SEC shouldn't even be in college. It shouldn't be in college. It should be called semi-pro football. But nobody's going to watch that because it sounds stupid. Why would anybody want to watch that? Is college football broken? I think so. Is it going to change? No, because they bring in so much fucking money. But especially if you're a casual fan, like not even a casual fan, but like a neutral fan, especially in these big games, and you want to see a good game potentially, and that's just out the window. You're not going to get that. This past weekend of the playoff it made me sour towards it. I'm sorry, it just did. I don't know how to explain. Like, I don't get like why anybody would ever care about it ever again. Because it's the same thing every year. But even this year, it was just like more of a punch in the face. Like, yeah, we're Alabama, we're Georgia, we own everything. It's like, Who cares? Who cares? I truly don't. I mean, it's gotten to the point where I kind of hate it now. And it's been building since, like, the past few years with me. But after this year, after these 2 games, I'm like, I don't even give a shit no more. I truly, truly, truly don't give a shit. And if you like it, fine. That's cool. That's fine. You can like whatever you want. But I'm not into it. And I'm not going to try anymore. I'm not going to try to make it so in my head that it's going to be a good game. I'm done trying to make it fun for me. I'm done. Until there's more equal play, maybe there's more fair play. Not everybody has. Until Alabama is decimated, until Alabama is no more, I could take Georgia. That's fine, because I know that Alabama's beaten them before. But until Alabama is no longer Alabama, I probably won't watch it for years to come, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. It's made me sour towards it. It's like bad fruit. It's like you eat and you're like, ugh, never again. Or you eat something bad, you get food poisoning. Never again. That's where I am with this. I've experienced it so bad, so mediocre, so unentertaining, so uncompetitive. I don't want it anymore. I'm done. I'm done, and I don't want to be here. I sound like I have such a vendetta towards this. I truly don't, but it's just like this can't go unchecked. Something's got to change. It's definitely not adding more players or more teams. It's just going to make it's just going to make more suffering and more painful to watch. So something's got to happen, man. In terms of the quality of football, it's just something's got to happen. Anyways, moving on to the NFL. Actual good football. Man, I'm just the best thing that can get my eyes and my heart off of such bad football is the NFL. And I know last week I did not talk about the NFL because, well, I wanted to make it more about the 2021 or 2022 and 2021, looking back at the good times and the bad times. And I thought that putting the NFL scores and the recap would have been not very suiting, so I decided to skip it last week. But we're back. Week 17 just concluded, and it's looking tight right now for some people or some teams, and some others it's just not. Sorry if I'm got a lot of burping, but talking a lot, drinking a lot of water, so that'll do it. We'll just, I probably won't just talk about every game because not a ton of things happen, but I'll talk about a few. One of the big ones, the Bengals beat the Chiefs 34-31. Good game, solid game. I enjoyed it quite a bit. The Chiefs definitely were very competitive with the Bengals, but the Bengals just, jeez. I mean, Joe Burrow is so cool, man. This guy is, like, whenever he plays quarterback, whenever he's taking a snap, the guy just seems so calm, cool, and collected that nothing can go wrong with this guy. I mean, even during the game, press conference, pre-game, post-game, whatever you want to call it, the guy is just oozes out cool. It's just, he's got like an old school name, Joe Burrow. Like, oh, he sounds like an old school quarterback. And it's just like, whenever you watch him play, and you see him progress after his injury last year with the torn ACL, and hopefully he can still stay healthy. They're not done yet, but ACLs and all those injuries, they always kind of come back with the same player, maybe the same knee, a different knee, whatever. I always get a little bit scared with that. And I just pray that nothing happens to him because he is such a good poster boy for the NFL and a good franchise quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. I just don't want to see anything happen. They had a little bit of trouble at the end of the game, though. They had a little bit of trouble ending the game, which I thought that was pretty scary because I was like, did we kick the field goal? Did we go for it? Did we take it? Did we slide? They eventually won by kicking the field goal, but it's like they didn't need to make it that complicated or that hard to begin with. Like that was just a little shaky there, but it was fine. They won. And moving on, the Raiders beat the Colts 23-20. Listen, I've been watching the Colts on Hard Knocks, and they seem like a really, really good team, and a team that has been battling all year and battling back, and the odds against them. They have a great head coach in Frank Reich, like I've been saying, but the best running back in the league, Jonathan Taylor. But they absolutely needed this game against the Raiders because, I mean, I thought that they were going to win, but the Raiders made plays at the end of the game to get them that win. They're still alive as well, but the Colts, if they're going to make it, if they're going to, make the playoffs, they got to just, beat the Jags and hope that one of the teams will lose, the Raiders or the Chargers, because they're on the bubble along with the Colts. Like, it's coming down to the AFC. It's getting really interesting, and this is why I love the NFL, because it makes it more interesting when teams are losing, because not just because they're losing, but it also it makes situations and scenarios in the league and in the playoff standings more interesting and more like it's a fight. I love that with any playoffs and anything that we have in sports. It makes it so gripping. I just want to watch it. College football, you don't have that. You just kind of, you got to win every week, and that's about it. I mean, and if you do lose one week, a lot of teams will be like, it's over. We can't come back from this. It's like, oh, that's not true. What the fuck? But yeah, good game. And moving on. The Buccaneers beat the Jets 28-24. The obvious headline of the story is not that win, though. It's wide receiver Antonio Brown, who has been doing a lot of things recently, not just this year, but last year and the year before that. With when he was on the Steelers, he wanted out, went to the Raiders, wanted out there because of helmets and all that, and stupid shit like that. Went to the Patriots, had a couple allegations brought up about abuse. They let him go because of that. Back on the Bucs last year, won a Super Bowl back this year, and he has a meltdown on the field. Takes off his pads, takes off his jersey, shirt, his gloves, throws them away, and just kind of happily jogs off the field and just kind of does a little bit of jumping and to get the crowd pumped up, and then just walks into the tunnel and out, and he quit essentially. We got Bruce Arians saying that he's no longer a Buck. Tom Brady's like, he needs help, and we need to be thinking about him, and we need to be helping him out. And then the bombshell comes out, essentially. I mean, from what I see from this statement from AB and his attorney, if I could find it real quick, where is it? Schefter, there you are. Adam Schefter released a statement from his attorney again, and it truly is telling of what might have happened. So the original reports were that there were some incentives that AB was trying to get towards, meaning that if he scored this many touchdowns by the end of the year, he would get a bonus. If he had this many catches by the end of the year, he would get a bonus, and if he had enough receiving yards by the end of the year, he would be getting also another bonus. He was very close to them. So that was a thing that maybe they didn't play him, or that they weren't giving him, reps and starts, so he was shy away from that. That's probably why he quit. But recently a statement just came out, like I said, by AB's attorney, saying that his ankle is still injured and that his coach wanted him to go back out there, but he's like, I can't go back out. I'm in so much pain. And then in the statement, AB is saying that coach cut him, and that the coach even gave him the "you're dead" gesture when you run your finger across your throat, like they do in movies. Like, he did that, and that he said that you're done, you're out. And I guess what he's saying is that coach cut him and that he didn't quit, but he's not saying who the coach is, which is fascinating to me. And nobody who's been interviewed, at least in the post game, has then said anything about that. They've only said that they don't know what's happening, or Tom Brady said that, he needs help. Like, they've said nothing even remotely close to what his attorney is saying right now. Which is like weird, because it's like he's claiming that the doctors or the coaches wanted him to get these injections that he's saying are harmful or can be harmful, and numbing pain and numbing, his ankle and all that, because he has an ankle injury. That's what he's claiming that they did. And he's claiming that the coaches are making up a story and bringing up that he's had some issues in the past mentally, and citing that to cover up what happened, which he's claiming that he was cut by a coach during the game. He then snapped and said, okay, well, I'm out then. But I don't know what to believe, because why would he not say the name of the coach? Why wouldn't nobody, that I've seen recently, say that that's not what happened? Or how come nobody, even Tom Brady, was like, he had no inclination or no thought about any of that at all? So, sure, I understand why. It's like, what kind of coach has the power to do that anyway? I don't think a coach is going to be like, no, you're done. And is that even is that cutting him from the team? Or you're just done for the day? It's not something that I would go to and think that, oh, my coach just cut me from the team. I wouldn't think that. It seems very, very, very far-fetched. I don't think that's what happened, but this is the latest that we have right now, so I'm thinking, it definitely seems possible, but at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if that's true or not. But only time will tell, I guess. But it was crazy when it happened, though, because I never have ever seen anybody storm off the field like that, throw their pads and their gloves and just kind of dance off the field, or jump around off the field, which is weird, because if he was in pain and he stopped playing because his ankle was hurting, he was jumping up and down, getting the crowd hyped up. Why would you do that if your ankle was hurting? I don't know. It's just, that seems kind of weird. So it's is he just playing a victim role to kind of make him seem like he's not totally insane? I don't know. And then you have the video of him in the Uber saying man, I'm going to show this to my nephew. What I believe is he says, I'm going to show this to my nephew. And then the guy's like, I got AB here. Yeah, what up? Trying to be cool and all that. I don't know if that's... It doesn't seem like it was an injury, I think. Because why would you be jumping up and down, getting the crowd pumped up for you? Well, we all think it's quitting, but he thinks he's being cut. I don't think... It doesn't really add up to me. And he doesn't name the coach either. He just says, my coach. Is it Byron Leftwich? Is it BA? Is it Toddable receiver coach? Who is it? Why are you being so secretive about if this is what happened? It doesn't make any sense. So I don't know what's happening with AB. All I know is that when it happened, though, while it was crazy, it was so funny. I couldn't believe, because it was AB, and he has done stupid shit all the time, and it's what could you expect more? At least he put on a show. At least he made people cheer that he was leaving the field. When he was actually gassing up the crowd, clap, 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 essentially, waving his arms up in the air, and they started to cheer, yeah. It's I don't know if anybody would do that if they were cut. I don't think any coach has the ability to cut them during a game. This doesn't seem real to me. I don't know. But I could be wrong. Who knows? I don't know. It doesn't seem real to me. That doesn't seem like the real reason. But anyway, moving on. I guess we could talk about the Rams game because, being a Rams fan, stuff like that. It's funny because they got their logo wrong on here. The Rams beat the Ravens 20-19 in a shaky game, I would say, for the best. I'm still really, really, really nervous about Matthew Stafford. continuing to play quarterback for the Rams, because I just feel like the Matthew Stafford from the Lions comes out quite a bit in those has been coming out in games recently, in terms of throwing the ball, turning the ball over and throwing interceptions and pick sixes. It's like, oh shoot, I don't want this to keep happening. And he's under a lot of pressure. He's never won a playoff game. They're gonna be in the playoffs for sure. So you got to get over that. Got to ascend and be better. Like it's also McVay's fault too. I think that McVay sometimes over celebrates. I think in some areas of football, he tends to think that, especially with this game, that it was a good win. It wasn't really a good win. We barely won. We had a trick play at the end of the game that went bad where we could have scored again, but you decided to do a trick play that didn't need to happen. And I was just like, why are you celebrating that we won the Super Bowl? I know it's an NFL game, but it's like you got to have a little bit more urgency, a little bit more aware of the moment. Like, this wasn't the greatest win. We probably should have lost, but I don't know. I have no idea. Moving on. I'm still confident in McVay and Stafford, but I just need to be shown that they could perform under the lights and perform when it really matters. Let's see. Oh, the Browns. The Browns lost to the Steelers in Big Ben's final game at Heinz Field in Pittsburgh. I mean, it was truly a very well-deserved moment. Very, very, very well-deserved. Big Ben has been the staple for the Pittsburgh Steelers, the poster boy, the franchise quarterback for, I think, 18 years, maybe 17. I think it was 18, but through my entire football watching life, Big Ben has been that quarterback. And he's made some incredible plays, incredible moments. He's won 2 Super Bowls. He really has been like how would you call it? Like, just like one of the franchise quarterbacks of the past decade. Like in the days of Roethlisberger and Phillip Rivers and Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Tom Brady. He was like one of the big quarterbacks of, like, that they're a good quarterback and that they're like, they resemble that franchise. And Big Ben resembled and embraced being a Pittsburgh Steeler. And that whenever you think of Pittsburgh, like, you think of Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers, then Mike Tomlin and all those boys. It's just like, it's sad that this is probably like his last like game at Heinz Field. I mean, he hasn't like fully on said that he's retiring, but it's all pointing to that this is it. And it's just like, I'm gonna remember that forever, because even though I'm not a Steelers fan, it was always a good place to know that Big Ben was in the NFL. It was always like, it's like everybody was at peace knowing that Big Ben was the quarterback for the Steelers every Sunday, every week, every year. And it's going to be tough because the Steelers have never really made any moves to drafting really a backup for him recently. I mean, like, they had Landry Jones like maybe 5 years ago, but he fizzled away and just is no longer faded away, actually. He's no longer been in the NFL, so it's like, who's going to replace him? I mean, they have Dwayne Haskins. He could be the replacement. They could draft a quarterback, but the quarterback. It's going to be weird to see not Big Ben quarterbacking the Steelers now. Like I said, it's just been like a big part of my life and my football watching life. It's like no longer Big Ben and the Steelers number 7. I don't know. It's going to be weird. It's going to be hard. It's going to be, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sad. I'm just like, what is that future going to hold? Who's next? Who's going to be the next quarterback? It's just like, it's been like question mark for like maybe the past 5 years. Like, how much does Big Ben have? How much time does he have left? Has he got enough in the tank? And we always like kind of thought that up until maybe 3 years ago, he was good. And the last 2 have been like, yeah, it's coming to an end. We can tell. Not as mobile, not as accurate, not as quick with the ball anymore. It's like, And it wasn't a good game by any shape or form, though. The Browns were trash. Baker was trash. TJ Watt was amazing. And just... I'm happy that they won, though. If they didn't win, it would have been, not a good send-off. And Big Ben, by the way, he milked that send-off. He milked it. He was walking around the field, shaking hands, clapping, and sitting on the bench again, just kind of in silence when people were taking pictures of him, just remembering and soaking it all up and soaking it in, and then his family coming down, and then them walking out of the tunnel or down the tunnel. And then you see them turn that corner, and it was just like, that is such a story to tell of how that all happened. And his career in Heinz Field is always going to be remembered that way. Just him taking a lap with the fans, seeing his family, them all embracing, and then them walking into the tunnel, and then making that turn, and then there's no more Big Ben. That imagery, that imagery and that story will stick forever. It's truly incredible of how that all was able to come about. And it was so fun to see. So fun. And that's going to be it for today, folks. That's going to be it. That's going to be it for this episode, the first episode of the new year in 2022. And for many, many more to come. Many more to come. Many more things to come. I appreciate you all for listening. I appreciate you all for watching. And to remember to like and subscribe, rate and review, share, and get the podcast booming. Let's get booming. And always remember to that you can find this podcast at Intelligent Moron with Alex Silva on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next week.